Scott Hastings was one of Scotland's finest players. In a glittering career, he won 65 caps as a hard-hitting centre, most of them coming alongside brother Gavin. Born and brought up in Edinburgh, it was clear from an early age sport was going to play a huge part in his life.
It was great fun. There wasn't just Gavin, there was Graham, my eldest brother, Ewan, my youngest brother, and the four of us were always sports mad. If it was the Football World Cup on, it'd be soccer. If it was cricket, if the test match was on, we'd be bowling at each other, batting, a few broken windows. And of course, if Wimbledon was on, the tennis rackets were out, and there was never a golf club out of hands. And it was good fun. I look back at my childhood memories and think, brilliant. I still laugh with my mum and dad. It must have been crazy for them as parents bringing up four boys, especially when it kicked off. The fights were legendary, but hey, it was all good fun. I think we were a close, set of brothers, and when we do get together, it's always good laughs.
Their parents' patience was rewarded when Scott and Gavin were selected to make their international debuts in the same match against France back in 1986. The first of 51 matches they played together in the blue of Scotland.
The fact that a pair of brothers were playing on the same day, making their same debut on the same pitch, and it was a proud moment for the Hastings family, and it was just great fun. Again, I think it was the fun element that came out of it. There wasn't a cockiness going into the game, there was just great excitement in the household. And at that time, Gavin was at Cambridge University. I was working and living in Edinburgh and actually still staying in my parents' house. So it was quite a unique sort of atmosphere. And in those days, there was only sort of 2 days of preparation before an international. So it was a case of getting tucked off with a good breakfast from my mother, down to Murrayfield, and then 2 days. And the rest is history, as they say. Gavin kicked 6 penalty goals, and Scotland won 18-16. And I was winning my first cap, and it was against Philippe Sella, I think, who was on about his 40th cap at that stage of his career. But again, a fantastic experience and a very special day.
It wasn't just the blue of Scotland either. Scott and his brother were key members of the successful 1989 British Lions Tour of Australia, the only siblings to have ever played a test together for the famous touring side.
I think we just respected each other as teammates first and foremost, but we did read each other's games very well. There was a bit of a telepathic understanding, and of course, having played for Scotland and also Watsonians together, to then go on and play in World Cups, to play in a British and Irish Lions, and we're still the first and the only set of brothers ever to have played in a British Lions Test match, and you only appreciate that when you look back now at just how monumental that perhaps was. And that was 1989, we went on a Lions tour, and then he ended up being captain in 1993, so I suppose I had to listen to him a little bit when he was captain, but again, a unique experience, and we got on very well with each other, and that continues to this day.
A member of the last Grand Slam winning Scotland side in 1990, Scott also played in the first 3 Rugby World Cups, his last appearance coming against a Jonah Lomu-inspired New Zealand in 1995. But the 1991 tournament was the one that got away. Scotland beat Western Samoa to set up a mouth-watering semi-final against the old enemy at Murrayfield.
In those days, Western Samoa had done unbelievably, had beaten Wales in the group stages, knocked Wales out of the Rugby World Cup. So Western Samoa came up to play against Scotland, and we knew it was a very fine team, and people like Apollo Perlini, Frank Bunce, for example, were playing for Western Samoa at that stage. So we prepared in that game very much as a game against New Zealand, and it was a tremendous game of rugby, played in very trying conditions, windy conditions, but the team had great self-belief in the way and the style and the manner that they played, and we knew that we had the making and the beating of England. But on that day, England, from their experience of having played in the Grand Slam team, I believe knew how to outplay Scotland that day, and Rob Andrew kept on pinning Scotland right back down. Of course, a certain brother of mine missed a penalty kick in front of goal, which could ultimately have seen us into the final.
And rugby still continues to play a big part in his life. Earlier this year, he turned out for the Lions legends against their South African equivalents, and that spirit sums up his attitude to life and the game he loves.
Would I like to be paid? I suppose it would have been nice. I had 2 years as a professional player, but I always feel my friendships are more important than my finances. It was a great experience. I've had some tremendous fun playing against some of the best rugby players in the world, from Serge Blanco to Jonah Lomu to you know, Francois Pina, you know, and Michael Lynagh in Australia. And these guys are very much friends now. You can go up, shake their hands, have a beer, have a chat, and it's just tremendous that the friendship of rugby comes through.